What's up, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes, always delivering the top stars in the sport of mixed martial arts. Today we get to talk to Pat Sabatini, who's coming off a huge win over Lucas Almeida. He's already spent part of his win bonus. He's got a nice pair of shades there. He just told us about. Congrats on your win, man.
Thank you so much, man. It feels great to, get a victory over a really tough, dangerous opponent. And, yeah, man, come out healthy. That's always a bonus.
You absolutely mauled the guy. I mean, from start to finish, this was as impressive of a performance from all weekend, and that includes PFL, Bellator, and UFC. It was really, really top notch.
Man, I really appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. I worked so hard for this one, and I knew that I had to go in there and make a statement, and I'm glad everything worked out.
Not only did you make a statement, I think you sent a message to everybody else in your division. I'm not. I don't think too many people are going to be wanting to fight you. That was you were very you executed everything you wanted to do. Whether you were striking them, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I mean, you really, really suffocated Lucas Almeida, who's no joke, by the way. He's really a talented fighter himself.
Absolutely, man. I knew that as soon as that bell rung, I had to be on and I had to get that fight started fast. I feel like in the past, I would be a little bit slow in the beginning and, dumb shit would happen in the beginning of a fight. It's happened, quite a few times over my career and, no more, man. I want to get these fights started right away. I want to be going for that finish from the beginning goes off.
Hmm. Prior to the fight, I'll tell you a funny story. Prior to the fight, I was just perusing Instagram, and a guy that I guess came across my feed says, "Guys, I'm taking a chance on Lucas Almeida by submission. It was huge odds, and it could happen in round three, and then it might happen here." And he wasn't disrespectful towards you. It was just his little hunch that he had. And I've seen this guy talk about other sports and whatever, and I guess he's dabbling a little bit in MMA. Don't shit me. He said, "Yeah, what the heck? I'll take a little flyer. I got a little bit of money. Put a little bit on sub Lucas Almeida." Man, I started ripping up my ticket like about 30 seconds into the fight. I was like, oh my God, this guy's not losing to Sabatini. Sabatini's a beast today. So that's just me coming clean.
Yeah, man. Was getting tagged in a lot of predictions and this, and that, and a lot of people were thinking I was going to get knocked out, all this stuff. But I just resilient to all that stuff. I knew I was coming out with that win.
It's funny how one loss can make everybody all of a sudden question the fighter when in reality you were 18-4, which is very, very impressive, by the way. And you had long streaks, in your career. So, I guess everybody just maybe, I guess, thought that they'd like to see how you would react to it because this was your first loss in the UFC, but you've had win streaks. You've never lost two in a row either.
Yeah, I've always felt like I've bounced back a better fighter and more importantly a better human being after my losses. I definitely learned from them. I never try to make the same mistake twice, and the evolution process really speeds up after those losses, and I just got to keep that going.
I heard that you got a Airbnb in Henderson, so you wanted away from the fighter hotel. Now, usually a lot of the like main eventers they tend to do that a little bit, but I wanted to ask you why did you prefer to do that? Is there something you don't like about the environment of the fighter hotel or the proximity of everything you need being so close to you?
This is the first time I've ever done the Airbnb for Fight Week, and every single fight from now on, it's going to have to be like this. It was the best fight week I have ever had in my entire life. The easiest weight cut. It actually felt like I was on vacation. We went to Red Rocks. We were cruising around in the car. that's what I need. That relaxing environment, getting my mind away from the fight until it's, time to fight, until it's time to work out. That's so important for me because, the calmer, the happier I am, the better I'm gonna do in that cage. And this week, like I said, it was like vacation, man. It was me, my coaches. We were playing Monopoly the night before the fight. It was just a really chill vibe. Honestly, I wish I was still at the Airbnb. It was so nice.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, look, don't get me wrong, it works for some, and I guess maybe like not to deep dive into it too much, but is the hotel setting a little too intense or maybe just tense? Is that what you're saying? Like you just needed to get away from it, and when it's your turn to fight, that's what you came to do?
Well, number one, I don't like the smell of cigarette smoke, so that's one thing I get to get away from. Two, I don't want to be around like the general population of like drunk people and stuff fight week. And three, I don't really care to see my opponent until it's time to face him. And I got to really decompress all fight week in between training sessions. And man, it was literally like night and day from any other fight week I've had, and I couldn't be more thrilled.
You got the job done quickly. Are you pretty injury free, and can you take another fight booking quicker than usual?
I am definitely open to that idea of taking a fight on the quicker side. I do have a couple bumps and bruises from the fight that I want to get looked at. But other than that, no serious damage, healthy, and yeah, man. Like I said, I want a number next to my name at some point in the not so distant future. So, the only way to get there is, keep the ball rolling, keep winning, keep making statements.
Pat, you mentioned, and George mentioned as well, just how well this fight went, but we didn't know any of the pre-fight stuff and how well all that went. That being said, how do you feel overall as far as Pat Sabatini Incorporated? Like, was this pretty much the perfect recipe going forward? Are there still things you're looking at that still need to be tweaking, or was this kind of like the perfect performance for you?
Honestly, there's always things that could be tweaked. There's always things that could, be boosted as far as efficiency goes. But as far as fight week and more importantly, weight cut too, I haven't told too many people this, but I'm going to tell you guys. This is the second time that I've actually did the water load. And it was the easiest weight cut I've ever had to 145. Like the day before weigh-ins, I ate 3 meals. I had like a lot of water in me still. Like things were very good with the weight cut. I had energy in every single workout. Moving forward, I feel like, that's a big bonus to know that the weight cut's going to be a lot easier now with the method of water loading as opposed to water tapering.
George had mentioned your record, and I've always looked at it as every time from the moment you've lost to the next one, that's kind of like a chapter in your book. Right now you're starting a new chapter. What would you say the theme or the title of this chapter is?
Okay, if it was a chapter, the name of it would be Ferocity. I want to be ferocious in there. I want to let my emotions out and not be so reserved. I feel like most of my career, I've been very reserved. Even after a win, I kind of keep it in, but not this time. I let out my emotions. I cried in the back, screamed my lungs out in the cage. I lived this life one time, and this is my craft, and I gotta let my emotions out, man. This is a raw sport. It's my passion, and I gotta just be myself, my true, authentic self in there.
A win and a finish. The feeling that you're talking about, the high that you're on, does it almost feel addicting of sorts?
It is the most addicting feeling that I could ever imagine. This it just makes me want to get back. I'm actually on my way back to the gym, right now to get a practice in. It's that addicting. I focused on it, I manifested it, and it came true. And just soaking up this feeling is only going to increase my desire to want it more and my probability of getting there more.
Pat, did the promotion say anything to you in the back afterwards? Just pull you aside and say anything about the overall, not just the performance, but the way you conducted yourself? Because I thought you really, really came across well on the broadcast.
Not particularly, but I thought everything went very well as far as like interviewing and just being upfront and being very transparent as far as how I'm feeling and what I want to voice out there. I think everything went very, very well with that.
I don't know if you're going to like this comparison or not. I think it's a good one personally, but you kind of remind me of Michael Chandler a few years back. We know him very well because we covered him all the way since Bellator. And so he would express himself very well, and he could go out there and he could throw down, wrestle, everything. And then on the mic, he really, really like told you what he wanted, communicated. Like, you shared your feelings, man. I love my girlfriend, my granddad, my team, the journey and all that. It was kind of jumping off to me. And I think the promoters, they always want to see the it factor. Fans want to connect with an athlete, and this was kind of like that type of performance. Unfortunately, you guys weren't in a big arena with 15,000, because then it's even on a bigger scale, right? That's why I'm asking. This one just looked a little bit different, and I'm hoping that you're willing to turn it around and fight again, hopefully in an arena, and keep building off this. But I like I say, you kind of remind me of Chandler a few years ago.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you very much. And I would love to fight in an arena next. One thing that did stand out though, um, actually, I only told a couple people this. Obviously, I think my coach has seen it too. But when I got into the ring, when they were doing the pre-fight announcements, there was a small group that were booing me, and I kind of smirked it off. And right after the fight, after I got done talking, and I think I just got done saying something about just overcoming situations, overcoming hardships, and making decisions to be better at what you're doing. That same group gave me a round of applause, and to be able to, um, I felt like I connected with whoever that group was, for them to kind of change their opinion about me, and that was a very uplifting feeling, and it made everything even more sweet than it already was.
Was it like a group of Brazilian supporters for Almeida, or was it just some knuckleheads in the audience?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. They
Yeah.
could have been Brazilian supporters, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, man, I like gave them a wave and everything after, and they were like waved back, and they were like cheering me on. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I like it. Um, Ranked opponents. Which ranked opponent would you like to fight? Or give us some names that you think make sense based on their availability, or maybe the timeline. They recently fought just like you did.
To be honest, I'm gonna have to go through and see, which ranked opponents make the most sense. But I might just keep uh, rolling with the flow and kind of just see who the UFC throws at me. At the end of the day, I just want to keep winning. I think there's still a lot of room for growth on my end, and I think when the time is right, I'll be really breaking through those rankings.
I'll throw out some names, and you can play poker and keep a straight face, or you can smirk like, oh yeah, that one, I like that one. Here we go. You ready, Pat?
Go ahead, shoot them out.
Sodiq Yusuf,
Sadiq
L-
Yusuf. I've seen him
L-
fight before.
Lerone Murphy,
Lerone
Dan
Murphy.
Dan Ige,
Dan Ige.
Giga Chikadze, he's looking to come back after being out for about 18 months. I'm going through the USA Today Sports MMA Junkie rankings. So you said you wanted a number next to you. One of the easiest ways to get there is to fight someone that's also ranked. And so I'm kind of going in order. Any of those four, kind of like, okay, you know, I'm liking that.
Yeah, why not? You know, I've never been picky in the past.
Okay. Bryce Mitchell, Calvin Cater, Brian Ortega. You know, we're starting to climb up still. What do you think?
Man, all those names, you know, sound like they would be a nice matchup in the future for sure.
Bryce Mitchell, you like that one? For some reason, I think you grinned when I said that name.
I think I grant for all of them, but that's a good matchup. It's a grappler versus grappler matchup, you know. Yeah, man, I like all the matchups. To be honest with you, that you're saying.
New York, is New York maybe a card that you would like to target? Is it enough time to recover from this one and put together a nice camp? That's in November. Or would you like to do something sooner? A lot of fighters, for example, the other day, Jared Cannonier said on the same card as you, I'd like to go to Sydney, Australia. I've never been to Australia. Is that something that's appealing to you as well?
Man, I tell you what, I'd like to go to Australia. That would be pretty cool. But New York sounds good. I hear there's a Boston card in August. I actually don't really know when I want to fight next. I was going to give myself to the end of this week, kind of decompress after all the emotions this past weekend. But I think an arena that's close, like New York, that would be. I think that might be the move right there.
There you go. How many Sabatini fans would fill up Madison Square Garden? Are you the type of guy that rolls deep? Is it in the 50s, hundreds? How many people follow your career from the neighborhood, from school, or whatever?
So I know for a fact that if it's in close proximity like New York, we're gonna pack it in there for sure.
Okay. Well, I look forward to it. Like I said, you are jumping off the screen in many ways, and hopefully, like I say, the momentum can stay. Because Pat, here's the absolute truth about this sport: if too much time goes by, your name just gets forgotten about. You know what I mean? And sometimes there's just these building block type of fights where one can take that next step towards superstardom. That's what we always want from you fighters. And that's why we throw questions that may be uncomfortable. Who do you want to fight? Where do you want to fight? When do you want to fight? Or whatever, because we want to keep it going. And a lot of times, honestly, this will lead to the matchmaking itself. And that's why we push the fighters to tell us what you want. That's what the promotion always says too. Tell us what you want, and they'll hopefully give it to you as well. So anyway, thanks for the time today. We really appreciate it. And it's impressive that you're already back in the gym doing your thing, just like you said.
Man, thanks so much for having me on. Pleasure talking to you as always, and I look forward to talking to you guys more in the future.
Let's do it. All right, Pat Sabatini. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.